Alec Asher suspended 80 games for PEDs, and Frank Klose from 97.3 ESPN.com joins us now, and we'll take a quick look at him. You know, a guy was acquired in that Hamels deal. He did get a taste of the majors last year, Frank, but is he more of a organizational guy, or did they have some plans for him down the road?
I think he was pitching himself into being considered for the major leagues. I think if he had not gotten injured, he would have been the one who got the call instead of Zack F1 this past week when the Phillies needed another starter. And the unfortunate thing is, I thought for him, if you're looking at his career, last season the Phillies were just so desperate that they just had to rush him to the major leagues. So he was, indeed, if you look at the numbers, pretty bad, for lack of a better word.
0-6 last year with a 9.31 ERA and a WHIP of 179. That's not bad. That's horrible.
Yeah, it really wasn't fair to him last year to sort of be thrown into the majors like that. I mean, the guy had only pitched, I think, 4 games in AAA for the Phillies, and then then he was in the major league. So when the Phillies acquired him, he was I think he had a few starts under his belt for the Rangers at AAA, but he was the person that if you remember last year, the Phillies were just so desperate for anybody to come in and throw a pitch that they had no choice but to have Asher start. And even when they were going to put him in the bullpen to try to ease his load there, they ended up using him as a spot starter anyway. So it was nice to see him go back. He started out at AA actually, pitched pretty well, and then ended up at AAA. And next thing you knew, he took a little liner off the calf, and he was on the disabled list, and then now they got this news. So really, that ends his minor league season. That's a shame of it, because to sort of answer your question as to where he might be fitting in for the Phillies, well, he just lost his chance to really give them that answer this year, because now, if you do the math, and he's suspended 80 games, the minor league season's only 144, and they've already played 67 at AAA. Well, he's going to run out of games at AAA, and you don't know necessarily if the Phillies are going to use him in September in the major league. So my thought, who knows? They might be desperate and need an arm, but chances are he just blew his chance to show the Phillies what he really is.
Yeah, and yesterday Scott Profrock was on with us, and he kind of joked, like last year they had like the land of misfit toys back there in the, they were just finding anybody to go pitch. And now they have some depth in their organization at that spot. One guy, they brought up Zack F1 the other day, Frank, and obviously he did not pitch very well. But Scott Profrock said that Eflin earned the opportunity to come up there and pitch, and he's going to pitch again. What did you see in his first start? Obviously not very good in terms of the numbers, but what'd you take from that?
Well, it was kind of consistent with how he was pitching at AAA. The Phillies made a statement, okay, we're gonna set him back a few days because he was getting knocked around. Well, the next thing you know, he's being pitched anyway 1 day later after they said that they were going to let him sit, and rushed right up to the major leagues. So part of it was due to the need to replace Vince Velasquez, but he was leaking a little bit of oil before they brought him up. I really thought that for that reason, they weren't going to bring him up, but they decided to anyway. So I'm really curious to see how he's going to do in his next start. I mean, he's just leaving the ball up and everybody's hitting. So he's going to have to really keep the ball down if he's going to be successful at the major leagues. And we saw that same kind of performance when he faced the Phillies in the Futures game. It was leaving the ball up, and the major league hitters were all over it. So hopefully he learned his lesson if he wasn't if it was his own conscious choice to pitch that way. But Eflin, I think I hope that he can come around. I mean, he's got some real talent, and I would just hate to see the Phillies having rushed him here, and it really destroys his confidence, because let's face it, you put up the numbers that he did the other day, and that's probably not making him feel too good about himself after that. But I think the best thing they could do at this point is to definitely give him another start. You don't want him to be sent down after, with a 27 ERA that he has.
Frank Klose is with us. We're talking a little Phillies baseball. Sorry, Frank. Do you have more?
That's right. Yeah, I was just going to say, so it's important that he gets another shot, and hopefully the chance to rebound, because otherwise, you bring him up, you get shelled, and you send him back. I don't think you really helped him.
Frank Klose is with us. We're talking Phillies baseball. Didn't mean to jump in on you there, but tell me a little bit about Maikel Franco, because he's been missing from the lineup, but he did pinch hit last night.
Yeah, I think it's just a little soreness, and I think they're just going to try to wait out the soreness. I wouldn't be shocked. I haven't seen a lineup yet for today, but I wouldn't be shocked if he plays tonight. But a year like this, you just sort of want to let the players grow, and if you get them banged up even further because you played them too soon, that doesn't really help you long term. So, I mean, if they were in a pennant race and he was a key part of the lineup, they might have played him at this point. But right now, in their circumstances, the best thing to do is just to let him get his rest. And I think the pinch hit appearance was a way for them to sort of test that knee and see if he's ready to go. And that's why you might see him tonight.
You did say Petey's in the lineup today, right?
He is in the lineup. Just to run through that for you, Frank, it's Herrera, Galvis, Franco, Joseph, Rupp, Paredes, Goodell, Hernandez, and Nola.
Sounds like runs.
Sounds like two.
I want to ask you something, Frank, about Joseph, because yesterday Profrock came on and said that he didn't even recognize Joseph in Clearwater. He said, when I got to Clearwater, I didn't even know who the guy was, in terms of he had lost some weight. He just looked like a completely different player, because I had asked him if he envisioned Joseph coming up and helping them. He said, helping us? I didn't even know who the guy was. So it shows you how far Joseph was off their radar, and what he's doing now, how much that's a surprise to not only people watching, but to the Phillies as well.
I think too. I think the organization felt a little bad for him for his circumstance and his concussion. So they wanted to give him the opportunity to at least hang around. The first few games of spring training before the minor league camp opened, they usually carry a couple extra players, especially when they split up into a split squad. And Joseph was there, and he was just kind of hanging out. He wasn't really getting a chance to play, but they did carry him. And I thought that was just their way of, the people who felt bad for him for getting the concussions. They kind of wanted him to show good faith to him and kind of keep him around. And he sure let them know that he was around. So now he had a couple hitless games in a row now, but I think playing every day is good to let him settle in. And the last 3 games against Toronto, he hasn't gotten a single hit. So I think you're in a situation now where the league is starting to see what he's doing and starting to adjust to him already. And that's a good testament to him, because let's face it, a lot of these minor league call-ups, how much research are you going to do on somebody like that when you're about to face them in a series? So the fact that he's gotten their attention, and I think they're starting to already adjust to him, is a testament to his abilities and what he's done for the Phillies so far this season.
Yeah, Frank, yesterday also Profrock said the biggest surprise for him was the bullpen. He said, look, we gave away 3 key bullpen arms last year, and then this year they got Hernandez. They didn't know what to expect from anybody else. But is that the biggest surprise for you, number one? And number two, is part of the success of that bullpen starting to leak oil with Hector Neris a little bit?
Yeah, Hector Neris, he was somebody I didn't think was going to make the team. In fact, I was really shocked when the Phillies picked him over Luis Garcia. But at the same time, I know he's got a very lively fastball, and figured if he learned how to use it, it would be a valuable asset to the team. And I think we have to really see here is Neris really just trying to strike everybody out, or is he really trying to pitch? So I think what tends to happen with the people that are the flamethrowers is that they're used to everybody in the minor leagues swinging and missing, and then when they get to the major leagues, they think that they can do that again, and it just doesn't happen that way in the major leagues. So Neris is going to have to. I figured he would take some lumps. What we saw from him early on was certainly a surprise, and I just worry somebody like him is going to just try to strike everybody out, and that would be the sort of his downfall if that's the case. So I'm hoping though with you'll see with him being mentored by the other veteran guys in the bullpen, and really you mentioned David Hernandez. I mean, that's why he was there. A veteran reliever that hopefully could bring some stability to the pitching, but at the same time serve as an experienced voice in that bullpen. Gomez, he had a few years of experience, but he was really the only one going into this year's bullpen. So I think that's why Hernandez was there, and hopefully somebody like Hernandez could help somebody like Neris along, and what you'll probably see is Hernandez might supplant Neris as the eighth inning guy for a while, just to sort of to let him get his footing again. But I wouldn't give up on Neris by any means, but definitely he is leaking a little bit of oil.
Frank, because we're talking bullpen, it leads me to wonder how important is a guy like Brett Oberholtzer, especially when you saw what happened to Eflin the other day. How key is it to have a guy like that in your bullpen?
Yeah, you really need a long man, especially with these young pitchers, somebody that can come in and like the day that Vince Velasquez got injured, he came in and gave them 4 really good innings and kept the team in that game. Now, unfortunately, they lost on the one unearned run that Oberholtzer gave up actually when he made a throwing error. But he got off to a little bit of a rough start this year. I think it was because they didn't necessarily need that long man in the beginning, and they sort of used Oberholtzer as a mop-up guy. Now they really need it, and he's pitched pretty well in that role, and we've seen him get a lot better as time has gone on. In his last 7 games, he's got a 2.84 ERA, and big step up from the beginning of the season where he seemed to get rocked every single time he went out. But the was in a mop-up role, so I think Oberholtzer is kind of finding his groove, and now that they actually have the need for what was intended. I mean, you don't want to have the need for a long man, but I think we saw with his last 2 outings, he really, really helped the team out, going 4 innings for Velasquez after the injury, and then 3 1/3 the other day after Eflin's short exit. That really means a lot, because what you don't want to do is have your long man come in and get rocked, and then you have to go through every other reliever in your bullpen that's only used to pitching an inning or 2, and the next thing you know, your whole bullpen's tired, and then they start to pitch poorly. So he really did bail the Phillies out, both in Velasquez's last start and in Eflin's short start the other day.
Frank Klose over at 97.3 ESPN.com. He's got the story up on Alec Asher, suspended 80 games. You can read that. Plus, the mailbag from Monday's show. You can listen to the answers to your mailbag questions. Follow Frank at Frank Klose 973 on Twitter. That's Close with a K. And check out his work at Philadelphia.com, part of sportstalkphilly.com. All right.
Good stuff, Frank.
Frank, take care, bud.
Thanks, guys.